Welcome to the Global Peace Film Festival Lives Online Conversation 2021 Festival Edition. Please join me, Kelly Devine, the Artistic Director, and Nina Strike, the Executive Director, in conversation with Angelika Furstler, the filmmaker behind the lovely film Lotus, which you can see as a part of the 2021 Global Peace Film Festival. The dates for the festival programming begins in-person screenings September 21st through the 26th, and our virtual program, which begins September 27th through October 3rd. All the information about this film and all of the other events can be found on peacefilmfest.org. And now let's welcome Angelika. Hello, it's so lovely to see you.
Hi guys, thank you so much for the invitation, all you do, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
Hi, Angelika. Yes, it's wonderful to have you with us from the south of France. So, we wish we were there.
Come on.
So let's start out. Tell us about Lotus.
So much to say. It's such a it has been such a profound journey to film the whole project. It really is based on my own transformational story and journey that started in 2009, where basically, you know, like I worked and lived in Mexico after studying and like leaving my home country, Austria, and I became very, very sick. Virus infection, bacterial infections, and it all was so bad that I couldn't eat anything anymore. I had an arrhythmic heart disease, and then basically said to myself, okay, like this is not, I felt like in a movie, in the wrong movie, right? I'm like, this is not my life, and this is not how I'm meant to live. And I said to myself, when I make it out alive and healthy, from now on, I'm gonna follow my heart and follow my intuition, because as many people out there, I mean, I believe everybody can relate, right? We grow up as kids, everybody asks, yeah, dream, live your life, and all these things, right? And be yourself. And then we somehow get squeezed into a system and a program where I would say where we lose the contact to who we truly are, or at least like it happens for many, many people. And for me, it was like, God, there's so much inside of me, and I don't know how to. It was like a conflict of the outer world and the inner world. And after this incident, I was like, okay, and if I make it out, I'm gonna go with the flow. And I'm so blessed to also, I did Temazcal, I got to know alternative healing modalities, and that all helped me to be healthy again. And after that, I decided to face my biggest fear of water. You won't believe it when you see me diving in the film. The water was my biggest fear. Like I could not even go like 5 meters into the ocean because I was like, something is gonna eat me, or like really, really bad. And I went swimming with whale sharks. So Lotus, basically the film, so that was in 2009. And I always knew over those years that there's something like one day I'm going to make a film. And then I really dove in, and I was like doing projects for the environment and for everything worldwide, international underwater model, all these things. But I really wanted more meaning. And even I did acting, did lots of stuff. But I was like, no, I want a meaning, and I'm not doing anything that doesn't resonate with my philosophy and the change I want to do and see in the world. And then 10 years went by, and literally like I did lots of amazing projects, and yet my voice inside said, okay, like if I don't do it now, it's too late. And I was like, I want to make this short film, or this, it kind of, it was like a seed, you know, and it started to grow. And I was like, I want to make a short film based on this story of transformation and bring people with me along the way, because what I've really even felt even more when doing the film is like how we are all connected and how we all go through the same emotions and feelings, how we all share the same kind of fears. And being aware that we are all connected, to me, it's like, all right, we are all one, we are one family. And that so resonates with what you do and what you stand for. And together we can move through this. And there's so many metaphors in there, and it really depends on, every time I even watch the film myself, there's a new layer showing itself, that we also have a seed within. And like a seed carries everything it needs to grow into a plant, right? We also are unique. Every one of us is unique and has a unique gift to share, I believe. And Lotus is an invitation to really dive deep within and to connect it with that very essence, right? Because society it's almost like there's a whole cement or an asphalt layer, and there's like plants up there in pots, and we water them with our energy, but the real seed of who we are is in there. And the beautiful thing is, once we dive in, and once we bring our awareness and our love to all those hidden parts and buried parts and rejected parts, right, then this seed starts to grow. And as we know from seedlings and sprouts, they can even break through cement and through asphalt because they have so much power in them. And this is, at the end of the day, is the invitation, and to really we play also with the duality, right? And falling from grace, like when we come into this world and we are those children and everything is so beautiful, and then we are like pulled down by the system in a way, and then we go through that. And it's really by, at the end of the day, surrendering to life and trusting, the basic instinct of trust in life, that then helps us to actually, I don't have to struggle anymore. It's like, right, it's the inner work, and that lifts us up. So it is about transformation, transcendence, enlightenment. And that's also what the lotus flower represents in many cultures.
And Angelika, your approach, it wasn't a traditional documentary, and it wasn't a narrative either. It was this beautiful underwater fluid dance that people can, they can see the beauty of it and reflect on that beauty in their own lives. At least that's how I felt about the film. Do you think that's tell us about that approach?
Yeah, totally. So the whole approach, it was, I was like, all right, now go for it. And I'm so glad I met Austin along the way. And I asked him, because I really searched for many filmmakers to realize this kind of film, and nothing clicked. But when I heard about Austin, I knew in my heart it was him. And I reached out to him and we connected. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go there. Would you like to just do a short film with me? And then I told him about it, and everything unfolded. And I had also like clear visions of scenes I wanted, like, for example, also the shot at the beginning and the end. I was like, oh, it has to be like that, or I just saw it, or certain lights and the whole overall story. And yet I knew also that, then going to Mexico, and we filmed in the States as well, in the desert, especially in Mexico. We filmed in the jungle, we filmed in different cenotes. Like, I couldn't plan it that much, and I like to go with the flow, how things evolve, and I kind of always followed the signs. It also was one of the hardest things to produce a film in Mexico. Many challenges, and then the whole underwater factor, and everything was done on me just free diving basically. So it was a very intense process, and yet it's so beautiful because we started where it was a bit harder and difficult, and literally throughout the film production, which was a week under the whole underwater scenes, because we went to so many different places, it just got lighter and lighter and lighter. And we finished filming in the Cenote de Corazón de Paraíso. So in the cenote, those are those kind of underground rivers of the heart of paradise. And I really asked, like, one of a dear friend that I've been knowing for 10 years as well, she flew in from Mexico City. It was all based on collaboration, the entire film. And I asked everybody to simply, let's go with the flow. Let's be true to ourselves. Let's tune in. I also strictly said, because when you do a film like that, there are temptations. Like some people mentioned, oh, we should go on a trip and take some whatever magic mushrooms or ayahuasca, and I'm like, no, 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 we don't need any of that, because here, please, like what we did is a temazcal. It's like a shamanic rebirthing ritual, which is like a sweat launch, basically. Yeah, you really purify. and because I did that too when I was in Mexico, and all those things healed me, so I didn't do anything beyond that. And it opened up a new dimension of also creating that film, because everything was simply, okay, I feel like after filming, I was so cold. It was so extreme to be in the water. After 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you get cold. We stayed for hours, and I was really, it was a transcendental experience, even just that. And for example, I came out, I'm like, all right, I need some sunshine. Okay, no, I need to ground now. So I just went into the jungle and connected with the tree. And then I'm like, went back, and I'm like, Austin, come along, like, let's film this and let's film that. Or even in the I did a few shots myself as well, where I was like, I just took the camera and I'm like, wow, like going out of the temazcal house and going back in, and it was so experimental, and simply going with the flow. And I asked the same thing then Eric T. Butts, who did the editing for us. And it's so funny because everybody, or many people who then were involved in the film, it's like, oh, you think we should take something to tune in and stuff? I'm like, no, please stay pure, purify, do meditation. Really, like it's a clean process. It's a new challenge then maybe also. And I ask everybody to simply tune in, and I explain them what the essence is. It's an invitation for us to also dive deep and face also those fears and those demons. And it's amazing how it all went along. And the same thing also for Oliver Ritz, who created the most amazing music for the piece. And then I got to sing along as well a bit. It was so beautiful. It was so challenging, and at the same time so beautiful. Yeah, the entire process. And I think that's what you can feel. It's not a typical, because it's my first film actually. Like I never did a film before, and I was like, just like, okay, what feels right? Even the editing, it was like gazillion times back and forth. I'm like, no, we need to feel that we need to feel it, right?
No, it is a beautiful expressionistic film. It doesn't have that kind of traditional narrative. It doesn't tell the viewer what to think. It just provides these openings for feelings, and it's so filled with beauty as well as the challenges. And I think that really comes through. And it must have been, you say this is your first film. So certainly along the way, you must have learned so many things about just the process itself, and how that, how that played into your thinking about the feelings you wanted to express.
Yeah. So where to start? So, I mean, Austin is a professional cinematographer also. So and yet the entire filming, we really just recorded. And I was like, okay, now let's just evoke this feeling of, and literally when I was in the desert, it wasn't, nothing was acting. It was really living and transforming, like something so interesting that happened also in the desert, because it was so intense. I was like running, and then for the drone shot, and I threw myself, and before even the entire, it's so amazing, because also the hardness I faced in the whole production, where I was like, holy cow, where's that coming from? It helped me to dig into my deepest pain that I already had buried down there as well. Yeah. And even the filming now, for example, like I just let that, I dig deep and I transformed it all when we were filming. And at the same time, I tapped into the pain of humanity. And that's how we went along. And then basically we had it all filmed. And then from there, we went then into the editing process, which was a meeting then also with Eric. And I was still in the States. So we all met outside of LA in Malibu, and with some raw chocolate and vegan food and stuff, and we were sitting and okay, and then let's go for it. And he with his genius editing as well, and then we did, played ping pong, so to say. We played the ball like this, and then it, yeah, it simply had to feel right in that sense. And I learned so much about the whole thing. I mean, Oliver, I met him, who made the music. I met him years ago, and I knew one day we're going to do something together. And then it's literally everything that happened in my life. I simply put the puzzle together, the puzzle pieces.
Oh, that's wonderful. And let me ask you, you know, to connect the kind of the intentionality behind, you know, making this story and the mission of our festival, which is to find ways to inspire people with either bringing them stories about things that are happening on the other side of the world that they don't know about, or things that are even happening in their own community that they may not know about, ways in which they can transform their own lives and make the world a more peaceful and just place. And you know, your film certainly has that kind of sense of transformation. So if you could speak to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe the biggest, because I mean, we always hear it, and it really is that if we want change in the world, we really need to change first. And that's why, you know, we often might look away, or it's really hard to face certain things, right? That's why we live in a world of consumption where people, you know, watch TV, overeat, do this, do that all the time. And even when we meditate, or I mean, it's not easy. It's to start with ourselves, but that's really the key part, where when we transform ourselves, we can transform the world. And it's even proven in quantum science how everything is connected, and that depending on what thought I put into a field, like we are all energy, everything is vibration. So it's key that we work on ourselves and to liberate ourselves and to live our full potential, who we are meant to be in the world. When we suppress things, it costs a lot of energy to keep it down there. So Lotus, at the end of the day, is an invitation to evoke that transformation. And the most beautiful thing also that, I mean, again, I experienced when filming Lotus, and it's such a beautiful message. I faced so many fears again filming that film, like swimming with crocodiles, because there was a crocodile in the cenote. What do? You know what I mean? and for example, diving through a cave, and there was one passage, like one passage, it's like there's mangroves everywhere, and I was like, I certainly don't go into a cenote like that. I'm not, like, that was clear for me. Where do we go? The first cenote, it's like such really spooking looking. And there was one part where it's like basically there's rocks, there is mangrove with the roots going down, but they're all like sharp. So you can't just, right? And there's like a tunnel going through kind of thing, right? But if you go up, it's all the mangrove roots going down, which are very like sharp kind of thing. And you're not supposed to go through. And we were done filming already, and then I just knew inside, okay, we have to go there. And it's actually then parts of the best, some of the part scenes came from there. And I was like, oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. You look down, it's all muddy. You look down, it's horrible, right? But I knew I have to do it. And it's that courage, right? And the most amazing thing is that, okay, I was like, I'm going to do this. And I really felt like fear sitting on my shoulder. And it's like, okay, it's almost like I took the hand of the fear, and I'm like, fear, come on, let's do this together. All right. I take a deep breath. Everything on breath hold, I dive down and I go in. And the most amazing thing is, and that's what I want to share with you guys, is it looked really dark looking down, right? From above, it looked so dark. When I dove down, my eyes adjusted. Everything I saw was turquoise blue water, the sun coming down. And it was, again, another transformational moment, because I was literally physically facing like one of my biggest fears. And then this is the scene where I like stand in between the rocks like that, and then really just own it and say like, okay, there is nothing to be afraid of. And the fear only lives because we run away from it all the time. And it costs so much energy to just run away or push it down, or right. And the amazing thing is when we can actually dive deep within and go to the places where it's uncomfortable, then we can facilitate that change, because we liberate those emotions. And how do we do that? By feeling them. And that's also the amazing thing, that when I was in the desert, it's like I just cried it out, I let it out, and there comes a moment naturally. That's the amazing thing. So it was like magic filming that film, because wow, I got into, like, I realized when we feel the emotions, naturally there is a transformation happening. We have to allow it though. And in our society, we don't allow pain. We don't, right? We always put a happy face on. And it's so important to feel those emotions. And by feeling them, we can transform them. And I think that's the key message. And then there's there's the saying, no mud, no lotus. And it's out of this mud where we can grow the roots down to then rise higher. And it's in that mud where we get the nourishment to rise as the lotus flower. And if we can incorporate that, and even myself, like Lotus is my teacher, right? Like when everyday life comes in or whatever it is, it's like, no, stop. There is something beautiful to every challenging situation, as it can allow transformation. And that's the main message. And to have also one more thing also, there's so many things. One more thing that's so essential also. The seed, when a seed is dry, right, it's in a dormant state. It stays dormant. We can leave it in a corner. It stays dormant forever. And yet it's not why the seed is here, right? And that's why maybe we every now and then we feel like, oh, there's so much more in me, but I don't get to experience it, right? And the thing is, once the seed jumps into the water, the life of the seed as such is over. It's like the death of the seed, you could say. That's why we are so scared in a way to change. And yet the beautiful thing is, once it's in the water, I'm also like a sprouting expert into growing sprouts, microgreens, all these things. So that's how it's connected as well. Once you put the seed in the water, the seed becomes alive, and it's a transformation. And I believe the key is for us to have the courage and jump into the cold water and simply follow our intuition and our heart, because deep inside we know who we are and who we want to be in the world. And yeah, how actually less thinking and simply more surrendering. That would be the message.
So it sounds like from looking at the film and from hearing you, it sounds like the film is a gift to people who watch it. But what can the people who watch it do for you to support your work?
Share it. Right now, it's still at film festivals, so it's not public yet. And as soon as that phase is over, it's gonna go public. And I just want, from the beginning onwards, I was like, I don't want to sell the film. I simply want to. This is why I'm here. And it's like, I was like, if this is the last thing. And I put all my money in. I had like 100 euros raised for the whole, because nobody knew what I was gonna do, and there was no budget. I'm like, okay, I put all. It doesn't matter if this is, even if I die making this film, because it was really challenging. Like, it was crazy. I had like partly 5 kilos of weight around my hips, and I was sinking like a rock for some scenes. And I was like, even if this is, and it's amazing because I was at the film festival and got to know somebody from Germany, and they made a film about whales where actually the actress, she died underwater, and it was almost parallel. And I had the thing where I was like, even if this is the last thing I do on earth, this is the right thing and I have to do it. And I just want to share it with the world. So if you simply take the invitation and really take it and dive deep within and see what resonates with you in the film, and then just dive in and face your fears. That's the biggest gift. And that's how we create change in the world and peace, because what we all want is that inner peace as well. And we can't have this inner peace if we're always pushing stuff down. So that's the biggest gift and present.
And finally,
and share it. Yeah.
And finally, what's next for you?
So right now, really enjoying this baby Lotus and sharing it with the entire world and with people who are ready for it. It's so the time for it. And at the same time, also that has been bubbling up for a long time. I'm writing on my next book now, which is called High Vibe Food. So high vibrational food. It's all about, you know, the frequency, the biophotons in the food, all these kind of things. And I'm preparing. It's also completely new because I have never done it. So I'm getting into it. I'm preparing things, into preparing a documentary film, and still looking on how to best frame it to really set a new paradigm in a way that it's not just about calories, that it's not just about nutrients, but that we are so much bigger than just food and what truly nourishes us. So really looking into that in terms of food, and then also in terms of, you know, like we get energy from the earth. That's all scientifically proven. We get electrons and we get energy from the sun, and taking this topic somehow, and I'll see how then it flows as well, because I simply go with the flow, to tap into our full potential as humans, and not even full potential. It's really about, living our purpose and stopping. It's almost like I would say exiting the matrix, that we all the programs, all the cage that we've been in a way, of the kind of denaturated living, like domesticated living, to kind of move into our true like lifestyle. How could that look like, our true lifestyle, our food that truly nourishes us, and what's still possible when we are so high energetic, when, you know, we work on our shit, so to say, you know what I mean? We transform, we transcend, and we all connect with it, because we are all connected anyway. So that's the direction where it goes and where it flows.
That's wonderful, Angelika. We'll definitely keep in touch. We'd love to see what our filmmakers are doing, especially as you said, we're all connected, and so but acknowledging that connection now that we know you by name, we'll certainly enjoy following your work. And thank you so much for this beautiful piece and for sharing it with our audience. And I want to make sure that everyone knows, if they want more information, they can go to angelikafurstler.com/Lotus-short film to find out all the information about her work. And also, we encourage you to watch the film Lotus as a part of the 2021 Global Peace Film Festival coming up later this month. Please go to peacefilmfest.org to find out all the information. And we will see you at the next Glow. Thank you.